Well, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxshire, on the show tonight is the one and only Bridgeman and Rudy. Better evening, gents.
Evening, Oxshire. Evening, Bridgeman.
Oh, can I say a huge good evening to you two guys? Massive good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans all over the world that are listening in. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, thanks for the gifts, Bridge. That is the biggest Toblerone I've ever seen, mate. Thanks very much. I appreciate it, mate.
You're not supposed to say anything.
It's the biggest one I've ever seen. Folks can't get it in his mouth all at one time, and that takes some doing, by the way.
What a shocker.
He's cut on the tip of his mouth trying to put out a breaker. Oh dear. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, mate. That'll take that. Well, last about an hour with Fox, but there you go. We appreciate it.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good, Ox. Thanks very much. I had a good win at the weekend. I didn't really kind of lost the spirits. Not so much the fact that we got the win, but also the performance, I thought, as well, was top.
Yeah. Totally fooled, mate. If we hadn't won, he would have brought that Toblerone in this.
Well, I'd like to know why I've only got half of one. I think Bridgeman must have scoffed half of mine and gave me the other half.
What a shocker you are, boy.
Who's the chocolate orange for? Is that for Big Stevie?
Very good. Very good. I love it.
Right, okay. I'll tell you what we'll do. We plan here, Rudy. Me and you'll go on mute and we'll have the view for the bridge. And then we'll get these phone lines open if that's all right with you, Mucker.
That's smashing, Ox. That's great.
Yes, Bridgeman. People are dying to hear it. Let's hear the view from the bridge.
Can take anymore. View from the bridge. Can take anymore.
Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome to A View from the Bridge. Covering the game Rangers versus Dundee, Saturday, 4th December 2021, SPFL League game. A huge welcome back to Giovanni Van Bronckhorst as Rangers' new manager. Rangers warmly welcomed Dundee to Ibrox Stadium on their new manager's first home league game, charge at Ibrox. The game. We started the game very well with a good tempo and good possession. Dundee were not the greatest team ever, and it was Rangers that were showing all the quality play. The score said it was 3-0, but it was actually 3 going on 13, truth be told. Rangers played some of our best football, showing great teamwork and some tremendous passing. We seemed to bring out the best in opposition goalkeepers, and Dundee's keeper was another one who had a really tremendous show, making at least 6 or 7 good saves, saving Dundee's embarrassment. Dundee's defence were throwing themselves at the ball in a desperate hope of not conceding. Rangers pressed Dundee for almost the full 90 minutes. I believe that their star player Griffiths was making some obscene gestures at the fans again. Not the most popular player ever to have graced Ibrox. He came on and continued to cause problems, barging Aribo, getting into Stramash with Alfie, both getting booked. I'm afraid that Dundee just hit rock bottom, bring him on. For 36 minutes, Aribo picks up the ball on the right, creates some great space for himself, and there's a left foot shot along the deck, which is heading for the goal, and the keeper watching it and trying to ready to cover it. And the defender gets a wee touch to the ball, and it puts the keeper right off, and away it goes into the net. Fantastic. 1-0 to the famous. We're very happy. And that took us on to half time. And Rangers continued to press in the second half, really entertaining the crowd. In 55 minutes, Aribo was a quick give and go pass with Barisic picking up the ball and races down the left, gets in a great cross at the Dundee defender Sweeney. Somehow our manager turned it into his own net. 2-0 to the famous. But I'll tell you, it was a great cross from Aribo. On 69 minutes, a lovely pass from Sakala finds it Arfield, who in turn gives a lovely pass through to Morelos. He's immediately covered by 3 Dundee defenders, but for some reason or other, he manages to battle through all 3 of them and comes out with the ball. And I love that guy. And he just manages, just through there, slips the ball into the net, and that's to the light of the crowd. The crowd went crazy. 3-0 to the famous. The Rangers continued to press, and there was a few more chances that were squandered. Nice to see Ryan Jack getting 15 minutes or so. He did okay. The crowd love him. Full-time 3-0. Player by player. McGregor 7, Tavernier 7, Goldson 7, Bassey 7, and Barisic 7. Aribo 8, Kamara 8. Harfield 7, Hadji 7, Morelos 7, and Sakala Jr. 7. Man of the match for me was Joe Aribo, followed very closely by Glenn Kamara. Stats: possession 73% Rangers, 27 for Dundee. Total shots 26 for Rangers, 5 for Dundee. Shots on target 14 for Rangers, 2 for Dundee. Corners 11 Rangers, 4 for Dundee, and fouls 9 for Rangers, 10 for Dundee. And this is the end of A View from the Bridge.
View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore. View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore.
Well, hey, the bridge is back. Rudy Bear.
Aye, and a pretty good summation of the game as far as the view from the bridge goes. Nice to hear the bridgeman back again, Ox. It pretty much hit the nail on the head for me, though I thought I'd maybe give Sakala more than a 7, bridgeman, if I'm honest. I think maybe he deserves a wee 8. I suppose he would have got that.
8's good. 8's good. 7.5. Would you take
7.5. 7.5. Would you give him an 8 if he'd have scored the goal, Ox? Because he deserved the goal. He's
you get an extra mark or something if you score a goal, didn't you? You must be, yeah.
Aye. But all in all, Ox, it was a fantastic team performance. I don't think there was a failure in the team. Possibly, I'm not too sure whether that position out in the right is for Hadji, to be honest. But apart from that, it was really good performance. I thought Kamara was excellent. Sakala was great. Aribo was brilliant, I thought. And the back, Bassey as well. You know, I tell you what, he's doing everything he can, Ox, to keep a hold of that jersey, big Bassey. And I thought Borna probably had his best game of the season so far as well.
Aye, arguably, but best 90 minutes of the season so far over the piece, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we can get too carried away because the level of the opposition, but we've been critical when we don't do it, we only do it for one half. If I've got one criticism, Rudy Bear, then I'll bring Bridges. We should have scored more goals.
Oh, aye. I mean, you saw their man of the match without a shadow of a doubt. I don't know how you pronounce that boy's name, but their goalkeeper. Aye, that's their man, the goalkeeper. Aye. He was their man of the match without a shadow of a doubt. You know, some of the saves that boy pulled off at the weekend were just fantastic saves. You know, if McGregor pulls him off, we're raving about it, you know. He had an absolute purple patch of a game, that boy. But yeah, you're right, Ox. You know, it was 3, as I think Brad said, it was 3, you know, in 12 or something. It really was like that, you know. And you can talk about the level of opposition all you like, but that's opposition that we would have struggled with earlier on in the season, you know. I thought we played with pace. I thought we played with really direct at times when Sakala got on the ball, even when Scott Wright came on. But you saw Scott Wright, how direct he was when he got on the ball. I'd like to see Scott Wright improve his final third play, though. You know, if we can add that to his game, the boy's going to be a really good player as well, Ox.
Listen, I've been saying the big question that people want to know for you, Rudy Bear. Yeah?
Aye.
Is it chestnut stuff and a sage and onion for you?
Oh, sage and onion every time.
No,
Pork with sage and onion, Ox.
That's it. Fair enough. That's a question I've been sent for somebody. You sent them in the right direction. Right, okay.
Is that what you had the night, Rudy?
Oh, the night? No, it was a chippy dinner the night, Brisbane.
Oh,
chippy dinner. We never got into about 7, so I just not
telling you. An Italian meal.
Italian.
Aye, the pizza supper. So we played well. I accept all the stuff about the opposition not being great, but you can only play what's in front of you, as you said, Rudy. You know, I alluded to that. Bridgeman, I thought Aribo was arguably the best player. I did enjoy Sakala as well. I just don't know how he just gives you something different, Bridger.
Yeah, I think Sakala's a very exciting player. He gets the ball, and he's one of these players, sometimes he just drops his head and he runs. And he's really, really, really frustrating. He frustrates everybody in the opposition. But he always got a big smile on his face. There's a couple of times he got whacked, you know, and I thought that was a wee bit unfortunate, but never mind. I do think that Rudy mentioned Barisic. I think Barisic, for me, has had the best defensive game I've seen him play for Rangers. He was outstanding in the defence. Hardly put a foot wrong. Was three times that they sort of dropped Rangers. Rangers dropped their guard, should I say, and they managed to get through and had a couple of shots. Other than that, there was one unbelievable comedy of errors at the end when wee Griffiths managed to get a shot at goal, hit the post, came out, hit McGregor. Run past the post. And he didn't know where the ball was. Nobody knew. I think it actually hit Goldson, which made it hit the post. It was just incredible stuff.
That was pretty much the last minute.
I'm saying that, but that's about as much that the D did. They never done anything. Charlie Adam hardly played one. He's got a lovely pass to the ball, Charlie Adam. But he hardly played any really good.
What he done was every time Charlie Adam get the ball, somebody sprung on him. And obviously, he wasn't quick when he was 21, so he's not going to be quick when he's nearly 50, is he? You know what I mean?
Absolutely right, pal. Absolutely. Rudy knows about that. He's went from 21 to 50 in a very short space of time.
Well, we're going to have to change that tune to the bridge to share turn back time for Rudy to be 50.
You're lower on bridge.
Yeah, it's just brilliant. No, really, I thought Rangers were absolutely...
All right, Bridge, calm down. Right, let Rudy come in.
All right, I'm away. I'm shutting the mood.
No, you'll be back in a second. Just let Rudy come in.
Pretty much everything Bridge says is right there, Ox. And we don't always say that, do we? But he is right. Pretty much everything he says. It was just a really good team performance. Everybody knew their jobs. They played well. And once again, like, you could talk about the level of opposition. But as I said, this is opposition we might have struggled with earlier on in the season, Ox.
We did.
We did, yeah, totally. Of course we did. And I'm getting a wee bit kind of excited now about what we might see under Gio and his coaching staff. I like the way the fullbacks
if you get a wee bit excited, mate, wait till during the tune and you can come back on, all right?
All right, buddy. But I like the way we're kind of setting up now, Ox. You know, I like the way we're a wee bit more direct now, using a bit of pace to drag defenders about, you know, because they try to defend, you know, but our pace just totally undone them. So that, you know, our fullbacks are no bombing forward anymore. They're picking and choosing when they go forward, and it seems to make us much more solid at the back, working like that.
Bridgeman, how did you enjoy the width in the team? I thought it was really good, you know. It allowed the midfield type wide players to get wide and do what they like to do. And once again, you saw Aribo shone. It just shone on it. And I thought Kamara was it was majestic on the pitch. And it was just wonderful to see. I thought Hadji hadn't a bad game. I heard Rudy saying something, and I know you're not keen on him, but I thought he had quite a good game, Hadji. I'm not going to criticise any players of the Rangers quality. No, I thought every single player was marvellous, really good, and that's why I gave them very high marks.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm in the Rudy camp. Everybody knows what I think of Hadji's one of my all-time favourites, but I don't think we've been fair to the boy in that position, and I don't think he gets ahead of the other players. You see the difference. I know the game was pretty much done when Scott Wright came on. One run. Hadji's not doing that, but Hadji can do things that Scott Wright can't do, you know.
Yeah.
So it's getting the blend right and what's good for the team. We'll see what we do going forward. But pace on both sides is hard to defend against, Rudy.
It absolutely is, Ox, and we spoke about this for a few weeks, you know, when we were playing so narrow in front of defences. Defences will take that all day long, Ox, you know, but see, once you start using a bit of pace, you start playing wider, you start using pace, you know, for the likes of Sakala, Scott Wright, you saw what Scott Wright done when he came on, and Ryan Kent, when Ryan Kent's on form and all. These are players with pace and a bit of trickery at their feet, and they'll drag defenders out of position, and you have to do that, Ox. You know, see, if you're just playing too narrow, they'll take that all day long. And I think you saw that at the weekend, how good it is when you get players with pace playing wide, you know.
Did any of you see or hear what their manager said about the game? Are you interested? No, you'll be interested.
No, no interested in what he says or what he says to their manager, yeah?
No, correct. I'm the same, but just wondered if he was upset about us winning, you know.
Be talking about somebody else, one of his players that he brought on as substitutes. That says everything you know about that club. Anyway, that's a team. That was a club that we had a bit of respect for, but
absolutely, many moons ago.
Yes, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, we try to move the ball a bit quicker.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972?
Well, you buy one, you get one free, Rudy.
You need to sack him. You need to sack him. They did that deliberately, drown you
out. Oh, no, I'll not tell you the story. It wouldn't be fair.
Do it now. You can't do
that.
All the people on YouTube all over the world waiting for you to tell that.
I can't. I'll maybe tell it tomorrow. But
why don't you give us a call?
Fair play to old school blue. Well done.
All right, if that's the game he wants to play, I might tell the story, Rudy.
I don't like he'll let you up somehow. I don't like.
What was that you were going to tell us about Austria?
No, let's just say it involves fox, a duck, and a lady of a different sexual persuasion, yeah?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
True story, Bridge. True story.
Yeah. Please don't
right, anyway, enough about that. Okay.
I think he's muted them now. Bridgeman.
Probably permanently.
He'll kill me. I'll text you, Rudy.
All right, okay, cheers, mate. I look forward to that.
Oh, dear. Anyway. Right, where are we? So, we played well. We've been critical, I think, critical of McGregor after the semi-final. James Tavernier had Tavernier. Right, his criticism. Conor Goldson played well on Saturday. Bassey, I didn't know if he could play that position. Bonner's had a lot of stick. The midfield players, maybe not quite the same. Kamara, Rebo, Scotty Arfield and that, they've no maybe had quite the same as the other players. Got Morelos has a bit of stick, gets a goal. Maybe should have scored a couple. By the way, I know you get booked, Rudy, but I like the fact that he went to stick up for fashions. Joe Rebo, wasn't it?
Aye, he was there for his teammate, wasn't he? And that's the way a team should be, Ox. You know, no player should be left on their own to deal with any incident. You know, anything dodgy comes up like that, you want the backing of your teammates. And Alfredo was the first one there, wasn't he? You know, but notably so were most of the rest of the players there as well. You know, try to separate it and just get Joe out the way and stuff. So, so it looks like a bit of team camaraderie to me when that happens. You know, players defending each other.
I thought that was a red card. He should have been sent off.
Oh, it should have been. He should have been.
That.
But you were one of the original Musketeers Bridge, all for one and one for all, weren't you?
That's correct. That's it. Yes. But they did a lot of drinking in those days.
Oh dear. Right, Colin Keys, your thoughts? I'm sure if they beat 3-0, these phone lines would have been red hot, Rudy.
Aye, you like to. It's certainly myself anyway, and I'm sure most of the callers like to give their opinions on whether it's a good performance or a bad performance, and it's just one of the things. I think people got much more to say if you're going to, you know, if it's been a poor performance like after a semi-final, you know, people just wanted to sort of vent their anger a wee bit and their frustration a wee bit. Probably more frustration than anger, really, you know, where it'll be a poor performance. But then when you get a really good performance like we've seen at the weekend, you have to, you know, when they play poorly, Ox, we criticise. When they play really well like they did at the weekend, they deserve the plaudits. You've often said we can only talk about what we see, Ox. And what we've seen at the weekend was a really good team performance, you know.
Aye. I'm comfortable with that. Bridgeman?
Oh, yes, 100%. I think every single player, I ain't going to criticise anyone. I think that, as far as I'm concerned, they all played really well. It was a smashing team performance and they were well worthy of our win. I said it in the view from the bridge as far as I was concerned. it was 3 going on 13. That team looked as if they were never going to get anywhere near our goal, but one pops up and hits the post there, right? But other than that, absolutely nothing. Even when we were poor ourselves in a couple of minutes, they couldn't do nothing. Their passing was well covered. We covered every inch of the pitch. And looking through, the goalkeeper handled it very well. Very quiet game, their goalkeeper, very quiet game.
I also thought Ox at Big Bassey put in another really competent performance at centre-back.
Yeah, didn't put a foot wrong, mate.
No, and what do you do when Balogun's back and fit? Which apparently is not too far away. Well, for what I've seen, 4 games, 3 clean sheets, 4 really good performances, but a big lad. I'm not so sure whether you keep Balogun that jersey back. I think you just keep going with a team that's winning, playing good football and keeping clean sheets, Ox, to be honest.
That's a kind of difficult one, that, isn't it, Rudy? At the moment.
Well, Balogun's got about 6 months left in his contract, isn't he?
Aye.
Bassey's an asset. What do you do? I think you try and develop your asset, Bridge.
Yeah, I have to say that when the last time we played them at their own midden, at the Ibrox, Big Balogun had an outstanding game against them. So that's the kind of performance we're wanting against them come the new year, or any time. I want Balogun, that Balogun. That's what I want, that Balogun, to come in and do a job on for us against them. Whether we'll get that, I don't know. But certainly I agree 100% what both of you are saying. Bassey is absolutely sensational form at the moment. And it's as if he's never been out of the team. It just seems to go and do this and go and do that, and it all works out very well. So with another clean sheet, Bassey's been in the defence. Great.
Aye. I think Big Bassey, the term you used is the man in possession, Rudy Bear. So, aye. Listen, Balogun's not the worst player we've ever had, if we're being honest. No. Bassey, is he great in the air? We've not really seen that yet. But he's got his power, his pace, and his hunger, maybe enthusiasm that maybe Balogun's no got. No, that I'm having a go at Lyon. I think he's done well for us, but Big Bassey's a man in possession, mate.
I think he's doing really well, Ox. And see his enthusiasm to play the game. I think you can see it in his play. I think he's got great pace for a big guy, and I tell you what, he's an absolute unit of a young guy, so as he won't be shoved off the ball easily, Ox. I think he's done fantastically well in the games that he's played at centre back, and I know we can hark back to the game in Sparta Prague when he partnered Balogun at the centre of defence. He looked like Bambi on ice that night, but he certainly has made it look like that jersey's his for me. And I don't know. I think when Balogun is fit again, because he'll be fit before Big Philip Helander. I think when Balogun is fit again, I think the manager's got a decision to make there, Ox. I would probably edge towards leaving Bassey in that position and see how he develops for the next maybe 2, 3, 4 games, and just see if the defence keeps a clean sheet in the next few games. We've got some tough games coming up. I know we've got 3 Ibrox, I think, but we're coming into a tough spell shortly, and I think if the defence keeps a clean sheet, I don't really see any reason why you would move Bassey out of that position, Ox. I think it's all just about keeping a clean sheet for me. It doesn't matter who's playing in defence. If that means keeping Bassey where he's sitting now, then you'll come in that jersey, in my opinion.
At the moment, I agree with you. Maybe we'll see it different, maybe in a week's time. Hopefully no, mate. Hopefully we're saying, well, we've got somebody coming here that's developing Bridgeman, but the last 3 games, the boy's been excellent, mate. Yeah,
he's been tremendous. And the manager might see that. And he might see that from the first game, second game, third game, he might think, that boy's going to be for me. And I'll start, shall we say, coaching him to be a really good centre-half. I don't know what the manager's going to do. But I think he's a good fullback too. I was very happy with him at fullback. Obviously, the manager's going to be stuck between a wrong and a half place. What does he do? These are the decisions that we wouldn't like to take ourselves, but the manager's got to do it. So let's see what he does. Every faith in the manager. Every faith.
I think that's the real positive, Ox, is the fact that Bassey's capable of playing left centre back or left back. I think he's done well in both positions. That whenever he's been asked, whenever he's been picked in the first 11 and he's chucked in there, whether it's left back or whether it's left centre back, I think he's done fantastic well for a young player. Aye, all right, he might have their keys, no mistake in him. But what is he, 21 or something like that? So he's still a young guy, especially as far as centre back play goes. He's still got loads to learn. I don't know. I just think there's something about him, Ox, and the positive, as I say, is he can play the two positions just as well,
Big asset, the two positions, Bridger. Bridgeman, last call for the Bridge. No? Right, Rudy, it's a big asset. You can play two positions, yeah?
Aye, absolutely. That's the kind of players you want in your squad, isn't it? Players that you can play out of position as such, but players that are capable of playing different positions, And Bassey certainly seems to be one of them, Bridge touched on Balogun playing at right back against them at Ibrox. I thought Balogun was fantastic that day, but then you see him, and probably what you'd consider, and I know he's not a left centre-back, Ox, but you'd probably consider him to be more a centre-back than a right-back. I know I certainly would. And I thought at the semi-final, I thought it was just a disaster, Ox, and playing at centre-back in the semi-final. That doesn't say much when you consider the rest of them were much better that day either. Mm-hmm. But to have a big young player, a player who's still developing his game, Ox, and the coaching that he'll be getting, Gio and his coaching squad, I'm sure they're really happy with him in that centre-back position, and I'm sure they'd be just as happy to have him at left-back if Borner's having a bad dip in form or whatever,
Aye, I'm enjoying him. He brings his pace. He brings his enthusiasm, and he's got a bit of ability about him, Rudy, yeah?
Yeah, he's got great feet for a big guy. I know we've often said that about Joe Aribo, for a big bloke, he's got fantastic feet, Joe Aribo. It's his pace I like, Ox, because if he does make a mistake, he's got that pace, that he can recover, whatever's happened, behind him or beside him or whatever, he can get back, he can make the tackle, he can block a player, block a shot or whatever, just using his pace alone. And I know Balogun's not exactly slow on his feet. Balogun's
but he's nowhere near. He's nowhere near.
He's not quick. No.
Anyway, we've been joined by Robert. How are we doing, Robert? Evening.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Rudy.
Evening, Robert.
Hi, guys. And last but not least, good to hear the Rangers Radio legend on. Bridgeman, how you keeping? Okay?
I'm okay, Robert. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Very kind.
And can I ask you, Bridgeman, was your wee trip to Switzerland fruitful?
I can't say anything other than Toblerone.
Great to have you back. Bridgeman.
Thank you.
It was a reunion for the Swiss Guard. They used to be in that.
Oh. Brilliant.
Shocker, by the way. Shocker.
Carry on, Robert.
Anyway, guys, looking back to Saturday, I was in my usual seat in the club deck, and I know sometimes the emotion gets a hoodie and it's not you watch it back. But I thought I'm delighted with the result, delighted with the performance. The only thing is, it should have been what JFK asked on Friday. We should have had at least a handful, maybe 7 or 8 goals. But you know what? I'd rather we created 8 chances and miss them and not create them at all, which has happened in a few games. But I thought definitely Joe Aribo man of the match. But I don't know about you guys. I thought he was a wee bit slow in getting into the game, Joe Aribo, first 20-25 minutes. And then he came alive. I also thought, like this man, Ox, I thought we had you was superb. I thought his wee intricate passes, his wee 1-2s, his wee killer passes was absolutely outstanding. And for the 60 minutes he was on the park, I thought Hadji had a really good game. But where I was really excited is...
You've been told not to get excited.
No, I know. Well, I know. But listen, watching the Rangers, I don't care. I'll be a happy man watching the Rangers. But where I did get excited was it's good to see some of our top players like Big Bonner, like Glenn Kamara, getting back to their old selves, because they had been poor this season, let's be honest, not just they two, but most of our team, and I thought Big Bonner had a great game, brilliant game, and I thought Glenn Kamara just controlled that midfield, and he was a Rolls Royce player that we know he is. So I was delighted for guys like that to get back to the way they were. And as for Sakala, I think it will come. This boy, brilliant, he's running to defence. I love that directness in a player. Love it. Go, cut inside, have a shot. And if it wasn't for that big goalkeeper, Sakala would have had at least 2 goals on Saturday. So delighted for him as well.
See your point on Hadji. Listen, Robert, I want him to do really well. I would love him to be man of the match every week and make chances for us. And I thought he had a good first half. But my criticism was, again, he died out the game in the second half. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, do you find players like Hadji? We've seen them in the past, and I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to compare them. But I think players are kind of a luxury players, and I think you're always going to get that in another games.
Aye, maybe. It's sometimes you're blinded. You think, oh, I don't like him, and then you get blinded. And you're no fair with it, lad. I take that on board. Aye, I get what you're saying. Aye, but Joe Aribo, excellent. Everybody was good on Saturday, Robert.
Oh, definitely team performance, and that's I agree with what Rudy said earlier on. I'm excited going ahead because even with Scott Wright came on his wee cameo role, yeah, he maybe needs to learn a bit more, a passing ball, try to do too much himself. But the guys had hardly any minutes, and I was quite impressed when he came on. But I'm excited going ahead with Big Sakala and Ryan Kent to come in and really going at teams now. And Vic Giovanni's doing, he's tweaking wee things, and it can only be good for us. And who would have thought 3 weeks ago when Gerrard walked out and has left us in the lurch? Who would have thought we'd be in this position we're in just now, especially after that semi-final? And you know what? I think it's only going to be good for us. And I'm dead excited, even come January. And hopefully, even if it's a couple of loan players Gio brings in to get us by at the end of the season, get us over the line and get us 56. I'm really excited, mate, honestly. Really excited.
What do you make of the tweaks he's done, Robert? What's your views on that?
Brilliant, because brilliant, because I think at times, I mean, Tav and Bonner have been getting it in the net. People have been saying, oh, they can't defend it. And I think with him holding back a wee bit, and look at Bonner's performance at the weekend. I don't think Bonner put a foot wrong. He may have done the bad pass, which all players do, but I think the pressures maintain after they try to bomb forward and get the ball into the boxes, wanting the wingers to do it. And I like that. I'm old fashioned that way. I like a Davy Cooper or a Willie Henderson or a Davy Wilson or whatever. I like that. But the wingers doing their jobs, hugging that touchline, get down there and getting the ball into the box. And that's just the way I was brought up. And that's I like Gio's style. I like what he's doing. Really, really, really impressed with Gio. Brilliant. We have people keep saying, oh, we're going up a step with Gio. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when Gerrard left, I thought really well we got up a step. But I genuinely believe now we have.
First impressions, points that way. Bridgeman, and you come to?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think I was an admirer of Gerrard. I thought Gerrard was the best thing that we've seen at Ibrox in a long time. Still feel like that. And absolutely gutted that he left us. And he's doing very well for himself, making a name. And on the back, he played doing for Rangers. But Gio Van Bronckhorst, I loved him as a player. I think he's world class as a player. And he's come to Ibrox. And he's going to finish learning his trade and be one of the world's top coaches. That's what I feel he'll be. And here we go. And he's no lost a game. The cup game, we can't count that because he wasn't there. But since he took over, he hasn't lost a game. And has he lost a goal? I don't think so.
One.
There you go. So just an amazing transformation. And of course, we're going to find that our enemies, the press, they're going to love all this, They can't wait to try and dig some crap on them, That's all they do. Sorry, I brought the show down a wee bit there. I didn't mean that.
Well. Well, we can always put you back on holiday again. What do you think? You fancy that cruise?
Oh yes, that would be
Book it. Put it down to
She
Fox.
said to me yesterday, when are we going to Tenerife? She said, oh, woman.
Rudy Berrin, you come.
Aye, it was just all round a really good performance, and I think at the beginning of the show, Ox, we were saying, you know, it was a 90-minute performance, which we've not seen this season, you know. I mentioned to you in the, you know, before the show, you know, possibly the Motherwell game, but then as you pointed out, it was only after we went 1-0 down that we started to play, maybe around about that 25th minute, wasn't it, you know. So it was just a good performance from start to finish. I was impressed after half-time, the way they came out and they played after half-time. I love the tweaks that Gio's making. He's holding the full-backs back a wee bit. They're not, listen, see Borna Barisic and James Tavernier, especially James Tavernier with his numbers up. See if he could defend as well, he would be at Barcelona, Real Madrid or AC Milan or somewhere like that. He wouldn't be at Rangers. But you can't ask your two fullbacks to constantly bomb forward, provide the wide play, and then expect them to be back on the edge of their 18-yard box in their quarter of the park defending as well. It's just not possible, you know. But he seems to have tweaked that a wee bit. He's not letting them. He's obviously says to them, you know, pick and choose your times when you go forward. Keep a wee eye on each other, see where each other is, who's up the park, who's back. And it seems to be working really well, Ox, because apart from maybe, you know, one or two wee chances here or there that were allowing teams, I think it's looked we look much more solid at the back now, Ox. You know, allow your midfield players, your wide players and your forwards to do all the attacking play mostly, you know, and keep your full-backs back to do their job, occasionally allowing them to go upfield and join the attack.
I just feel that we're put with Robert, I don't know what you're thinking when you're watching it, you get a good view for the club deck. When we're getting the ball, we're guys, Hadji and Sakala, they're 10 years further wide, and that gives defences problems, Robert, yeah?
Definitely, because you know yourself, Ox, I mean, you were the one that was shouting out here only a few weeks ago, Michael Beale, you've got my phone number, and I totally agreed with what you said. So, and also, I liked what you said on Friday night when you said, and I've been saying this for months, why when we're playing the Dundees, the St Mirrens and all the St Johnsons and Ross Counties, why do we have to have two holding midfielders? And your team on Friday night, I can't remember your team, but I know you had only one holding midfielder, and that's the way I want to see Rangers. Fair enough, when you go down the road at East End and you go to Aberdeen or Hearts, you will maybe play Stephen Davis and Glenn Kamara, but the games at Ibrox, that's the way I want to see as many attacking players on the pitch, not me, and I want to see what, and I'm hoping actually January, I'm hoping that he'll bring in another wide player, because as I say earlier on, I'm dead excited.
We need a centre half, mate.
Listen, no, I think I'm hoping I'm a greedy bear. I'm hoping he'll bring in maybe 3 players, and of course, top the priority.
Glad you said Bell there at the end of that. You worried me for a second there, Robert.
Come on, Rudy. What else did you expect me to say?
I agree with you about the centre half thing, Ox. It's something we should certainly look at, you know. I know there's one name in particular kind of been bandied about. I've heard in 1 or 2 forums in the last week or two. But it's certainly a position that should be looked at. Also in our position, I think maybe we should look at a wee bit as that sort of right forward position. And when you look at Scott Wright, when Scott Wright came on, see if Scott Wright could sort his final third play out. I think Scott Wright would be an excellent candidate for that wide right position, forward position, Ox. I really do. I think his pace is absolutely electric. I'd kind of forgotten how quick Scott Wright actually was until he came on at the weekend there. His pace is just amazing. It's brilliant pace. And if he could fix his final third play out, you know, if he could really develop an end product, I think he'd be a frightening player on that side of the park, Ox.
Yeah, and can I come in there, guys? Yeah, so I totally agree. So, guys, I'll ask you a wee question here since you posed it, Ox, about getting a centre back, and I agree. So I'm going to ask you 3, and I know what Mr. Brisbane is going to say here. So the scenario is, come January, would you 3 guys if we got, say in hindsight, we got offered £2 million to an English club for Conor Goldson, would you accept that bid for Conor Goldson and then maybe give Hearts £1 million for John Souttar?
No.
No. Why?
We've got to win the league. Rudy Bear.
Yeah.
For a while, Robert, I like John Souttar. This is no any, reflection in John Souttar. But for a while, I was of the opinion, look, if Conor Goldson wants to go, you let him go in January. If that's the case, if you get a couple of £1 million for him, just take it, right? But that's my heart speaking. My head says keep him and just let him play out his season till he gets to the summer. Winning the league this season, Robert, is probably the most important league title we'll play in for a long number of years to come. We know the prize at the end of this, Robert, and I just think, as far as the back four goes, the centre-back position goes, Conor Goldson's the organiser in there. He's the talker, he's the organiser. I don't think you bring another player into that position in a January window that would do the same. It wouldn't click right away. It would take a while, for the player to work his way into the team. I think, no, you just keep Conor Goldson. It's as simple as that. You're so close, to him leaving anyway, because he probably will come this summer. I think we just keep him. I mean, a couple of £1 million quid's nothing compared to the prize that's at the end of the rainbow.
Well, Rudy, the reason I asked the question is because I am going to stick up for Conor Goldson here. I didn't like what he said in the semi-final. None of us liked it, but you got it right there. He organises and he talks to Big Shirley, who's young, and Big Shirley's been brilliant. And I think that's how you've got to have, if it's a gamble you want to call it, you've got to keep him at the end of the season, because £2 million is nothing compared to £40 million. And I want Conor Goldson to take us to the end of the season. So I was only asking that question because I know a lot of Rangers fans are saying, get rid of him, he's not interested in that. But you know what? If it wasn't for him against Hibs, it would have been 1-0 down at half-time. That one, Nisbet's ready for a tap-in. And I thought he played well in the Hibs game, and I also thought he played well in Saturday. But it's the usual. Some of our fans have just, like Tavernier, just got it out for them and just can't, they'll not change their opinion. But overall, I think
it's terrible when people get their mind made up about players, Robert. Absolute disgrace.
Don't worry, we had you'll make you change your mind. Just the same with Big Al to Australia. I see Big Al starting to come round. We were best player by a mile, this country mile this season, Joe Aribo. Big Al starting to come round. I like that.
Bridgeman's no answer. Don't you go, Bridge?
I'm just going to say, the boy Souttar, and I know he's got a lot of admirers, even on some Rangers radio. He's got some good admirers. Personally speaking, I'll go back to my old man, and I know I wouldn't give any Scottish club one copper coin, any player, unless it was in the same situation, the likes of Kamara, when you're going to take him anyway, and you're going to clean the club a couple of bob. That's
you wouldn't give any Scottish club one copper coin?
If I could help it.
You went to the semi-final.
That's a different thing. You're talking transfers now.
But
I wouldn't want my club to go and pay any money.
Three quarters of that money goes to the other three teams in the semi-final.
I know, buddy. I know there's not. That's set up. We can't do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than we just don't take any tickets, which I put forward before and it was shot down. Can you do it?
I would sign the boys Souttar, Robert. I would take Souttar. But what I'm saying, as you said, you're a greedy bear. Rudy, you could force your mate. I would sign Souttar.
I would say so. I like him. I think he's a good old-fashioned style centre-back. I think he's solid as anything. And I think he mainly... I think the only thing with Souttar is he's a wee bit injury-prone, but I think he's been a huge part of Hearts' success this season. They're sitting third in the league. I think he's been a huge part of that success for them this season. I think in a better team, better defenders, better players around about him. I think he did really, really well. Good old-fashioned, solid style centre-back. I really like him. He's really good in the air, so he's excellent in there, John Souttar. It's just that wee niggly thing about him being a wee bit injury-prone. That's the only thing. And so I'm saying keep Conor Goldson. Just keep him to the end of the season. No, because I don't like John Souttar. I do like John Souttar, but I think you go in the summertime for John Souttar.
You might sign him in January. You might sign him in January.
That's what I was say. If you bring him in January, he's there anyway, and that's him ready to go come this after the the league title ends at the end of the summer.
What are we saying about the boy Simpson then, Robert? Is he not going to cut it? Have we made up our mind? Have we cast him aside, or have we been too harsh on the boy?
I think it's a bit of both. I think we've been a wee bit harsh on him because he's not really. I know he get like 4 games towards the end of last season, and he actually done well in that Celtic game, the 4-1 game. No, I like him. He's confident on the ball. He's comfortable. He's got pace. He's got a bad pass. But see, for a central defender, I want a big Marvin Andrews and that type. I want a big Amaruso. I want somebody that's dominant. Richard Goff in that box, Terry Butcher, and he's no got that. He's too easy. Look at the goal we lost against Motherwell, Ibrox. He let the guy run by him, put it in the net. So I don't want to be too critical. It's the same as Scott Wright, because the way I look at it with these guys, they've no had the minutes. You can't judge on somebody coming on for 20 minutes yet. But I know we did see the big guy at the end of last season. So if I'm going to judge it on the 4 or 5 games at the end of last season, I don't think he's going to cut it now.
I think the fact that they're still playing Bassey at centre-back when they've got a perfectly good centre-back
tells you everything.
Tells you everything you need to know. That's what I've and I've told you my opinion, on him.
Talking about people that tell us everything. We'll be joined by Bob here. Evening, Bob here.
Evening, folks. How you all doing tonight? Robert, I think the word you're looking for about Simpson is presence. He doesn't seem to have the presence.
Yeah,
am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Aye, he doesn't seem to have the decent enough player already. But I think that's where he's going to reach as a squad player. That's his level he's going to reach. And he's never going to be another present every week for Rangers. I don't think so.
No.
And I think Suter would be. I know Suter's a right-sided defender, and I think Suter has got the presence, and he would be a really good acquisition for Rangers. And you're right, I would get him in January if possible.
I don't think.
Although Hearts would be looking for a few bob for the boy.
I know, but we're not in any rush to get him. But what I'm saying is, I don't think you'd be bringing Suter in to build your team around him. I think you're bringing him in to see where it takes you, but. Because to get us to the next level, I don't know if the boy Suter is there, but we do need somebody in the door. And I can't think anybody else who fits the bill, Bob, if I'm honest.
I can't think anybody else either. I mean, as you can say, we're a bit short. Is Balogun no near fit yet? No.
Right, he's back training.
Apart from that, I mean, we're having to rely on him and Goldson. And Bassey's done great, hasn't he? But as you say, Bassey's not a natural central defender. He's done really well when he's came in the boy, but we are a bit short. All we need is another injury, and we're really short. So yes, we do need to get somebody in. And I think that Suter would be a good signing. Not Suter.
Not for me, Bob. Yeah, not for me.
No, excellent.
Not for me.
Well,
is it the money thing, Bridge?
Who else?
Is it the money thing with you, Bridge, or is it the fact that you don't like John Suter?
I'm not keen on him as a player.
Right, okay.
That's a different argument, Bridge, yeah?
No, I'm saying I'm not keen on him as a player.
If you don't fancy him,
I don't fancy a lot of players, but ready to come and play for Rangers, they're brilliant. I'm happy. I just don't see it. I don't see that boy being a success at Rangers. I think you would find a lot of red cards falling his way. Sure.
What you maybe mean, Bridge, is he's not any better than what we've already got.
Well, I think what we've got right at this moment, you've got Calvin Bassey playing out his skin, and you've got Goldson playing very well. And we'll get all the way up to Christmas and a huge agenda as far as fixtures are concerned. Massive. And we've got to get through that. Well, if we get through that with the team that we've got now, and particularly defence, then these guys will be stars for us. Got to be.
We're hearing words about like Doheki. Jenny said anything about him. A guy who, I think he plays with Vitesse Arnhem. There's been a wee bit of word about him. Jenny said anything.
We're going to get that. We're going to be going Dutch, aren't we? We're going to be going Dutch. You're going to get a lot of rumours about that. But watch this. I do think we need a centre-half. I mean, whether that's bringing Katic back or whether it's St. John Suter or the boy you've just mentioned, Bob, there's loads of possibilities, but we are short in that area, because Katic is a couple of injuries and we're really struggling. Rudy?
Aye.
Then Robert?
I agree with you 100%. It's a couple of injuries, suspensions, and we've now got a sort of left back playing at centre back, and he's acquitted himself brilliantly. I thought I really like what he's doing at centre back. But yeah, we certainly need to bring a centre back in. Doesn't have to be a player that you're going to put in at your first 11 and first name in the team sheet every week, but we need cover in that position, because we certainly do. And I don't think we'd go far wrong with bringing John Suter in January if that's a possibility. I don't know how much Hearts would be looking for him. I would imagine they'd pretty much want to keep him to the end of the season at least, so it might cost a wee bit. Depends, is that going to be worth spending? Don't know. But Katic, I like Katic as well. Katic is another young player who, like, he's prone to a mistake. What young player isn't prone to a mistake, you know? So maybe they'll, as you say, they'll bring Katic back come January. He's not exactly setting Heather alight.
By all accounts, he had a good game they had a good result. Hajik's brought at the weekend, and Katic's done all right. Yeah.
Aye. But, you know, if he comes back in January, if they think about recalling him in January, which, if they're not going to bring another centre back in, then I think they've got to, because I think they've got to bring Katic back. I don't think they've got any other option, because they don't seem to fancy Jack Simpson. So you bring Katic back, and possibly under the new coaching staff, possibly they'll be able to iron Katic's wee mistakes and problems out a wee bit and help him with that kind of stuff, you know. I think he's an enthusiastic young guy, Katic, you know. I think he's certainly got potential for me.
Robert?
Well, every Rangers fan, we all want Nicola Katic to be a success, because we know when he's on that party, he's 110%. That's what Rangers fans like. He's great in here, know that. He is a good player, and I felt at times under Gerrard and that he was a bit of a scapegoat, right? The Motherwell game, they get 2.5 at half time. We beat them 7-1, if you remember. So I like Big Katic, but I think we should leave Big Katic where he is to the end of the season. He get more fitness, because he did have a very bad injury. And where I would bring Suter, and I only said £1 million as a figure. I'm not saying I would be Hearts £1 million, because I'm a wee bit like in the Bridgeman's camp about being Scottish club's money, but you can't cut your nose off to spite your face. So I would say if you could even get him for, say, $500,000, which isn't a lot, let's be honest, he's only 25. He's playing regular now. I know he had all the injuries, but playing regular, and we're all gone with all reports in the Scottish media, which I don't really listen to him too much, but we're going with the reports, he is playing really well. So I would think as a backup player to Big Bomb, to Goldson and Big Shirley, I think it'd be a wise move to bring him in rather than bring Big Katic back.
I get where you're coming from. Aye, we'll see where it goes for him. Obviously, if Balogun comes back, we then have cover. We Bassey been there that we didn't think we had. You know, so that's a plus bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you bring Katic back, one of your big problems, in my opinion, that's been there for a long time, we need to have a left-footed central defender. The Katic is a smashing player. Look how well Katic is thought of. And each week that he was playing, he was having to play on the left side. He's not got a left foot. Sorry to say it, but he's not got one. And that's a big weak point. So they just drop the balls in there onto his left side. And he doesn't defend properly. But put him on the right side, he might be a different ball game. And of course, his attacking prowess is as good as anybody in the league. He's scoring goals and defensive at the head, good. It's just to me, that's his big weak point. I wouldn't think twice about bringing Katic back, really. But I wouldn't, seriously. At this point in time, no John Suter. Not for me anyway.
All right, well, it'll be interesting to see what the callers think after the tune, but we'll go to shortly. But aye, I do think we need at least one more in the club, Rudy. Who that is or how we get it, I think it's important, yeah.
You might find come the transfer window in January, Gio and his coaching staff and Ross Wilson have got different ideas about what they'd like to see centre-back wise, whether they bring Katic back or they might just bring somebody we've not even spoke about, somebody we don't know. Yeah, there might be some young centre-back in Holland. You know, I'm sure they'll be looking at they'll be looking at the young Dutch players. I mean, obviously there will be Gio, and he's not going to bring a load of Dutch coaches and that over here, and the guys who have not got any knowledge of Dutch football. These guys have got big knowledge of Dutch football. They'll have their own ideas, and I'm sure they'll have spoke to Ross Wilson. So you might see come January 1 or 2 players coming in. I don't think you'll see loads, but I think you might see 1 or 2 players coming in, and I think we might be surprised by who they are, Hawks.
So interesting, really, to see where it takes us. Obviously, people, Giovanni's going to have different ideas for the previous regime, yeah?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He'll want his own stamp, and he'll have different priorities as well, Robert, than Bob Giovanni. Everybody sees it slightly different, yeah?
Definitely, and you know what I'm loving about Giovanni? You know yourself. Look at all the years or history. The Dutch are dead fancy fit and going forward and all that. No, I mean, we love their football the way the Dutch have always played football. They play it the right way, like the Brazilians, right? But no, what I love about what Giovanni's doing, and you listen to his interviews, and he's like, we want 0 goals against. I like that. He's realised when he's come in straight away, we're losing too many goals. Why have we lost the first goal in the last 7 or 8 games? And he's sorted that out straight away. We've lost 1 goal in 4 games. And you wouldn't expect that for a Dutchman coming in, because it's all flair with him, the Ronald De Boers, etc., all the kind of a players, Michael Moles. And I like the way Giovanni's noticed that straight away and tightened up our defence. And I wouldn't expect that for a Dutchman. I'd expect the opposite. So good on him for that.
Well, I'm in agreement with you there, Robert. I think the team is flowing better now than it did in the first weeks of the season, in the first months, couple of months of the season. As you say, things were handled, one losing the first goal, and just weren't playing well. To me, there is a distinct improvement since Van Bronckhorst's came in, and he's put his stamp on the team with his staff and the players that he will bring in. I'm in agreement with you, Ox. I don't think he'll bring in loads. I don't think he needs to bring in loads. But 1 or 2 quality signings, and we would have a more than decent squad and a more than decent chance to go on and lift the championship yet again. So, on we go, Giovanni. On we you.
Is it the squad, Rudy, or do we need somebody in that's going to be a starter? Is that what we need? You know,
I think we need a wee bit of both, Hawks. I'd like to see, just the sake of bringing in a player that's going to go straight into the first 11, just to freshen things up. That's all. And I know we've certainly seen a big improvement since, what we saw under Steven Gerrard this season.
Absolutely.
Since Giovanni's his coaching staff have taken over, we've seen a big improvement. But I do think it would be nice to see a player coming in that makes you lift your eyebrows a wee bit and go, oh wow, this guy's going to come in. He's going to go straight into the starting 11. He'll really freshen the first 11 up. He'll freshen the first team squad up, But I also think, as far as centre-back position goes, we do need to bring somebody back. And if that means bringing Katic back, I know some people are not too keen on Katic. I like him. So I'd be happy enough just bringing Katic back in January. I know Robert wants to leave him there until the end of the season to get him more football, because I don't know how much football you'd actually get if we did bring him back. That's another problem for the boy, isn't it? If we bring him back and we've got him on sitting on the bench every week. Either that or you bring through one of the young guys like Mayo. You bring him into the first team squad and you start putting him on the bench and give him a bit of time. Because I see absolutely no chance of Jack Simpson getting a game now. If we're so short in centre-backs, and Jack Simpson is nowhere to be seen, that tells you everything you need to know, Ox, in my opinion, as far as Jack Simpson goes. Right, so I bring a player in that's got to come in and freshen the squad up. First 11 player right away, just freshens things up for me.
All right. I was going to tell you a story earlier on, but I'm not going to tell you it yet.
Oh, you can't.
Come on, let's hear it.
Come on, all our wives are sitting waiting for this story.
No, it wouldn't be fair. I was told it in confidence. You wouldn't want to betray a confidence, would you?
No,
we'll keep it to ourselves. Come on, tell us.
It's nobody listens anyway, Ox. Just tell us.
What I will tell you was Fox was trying to do a religious sort of Bible quiz today, yeah?
why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, back, gents.
Yep, back.
Yep.
Just somewhere in my way making a cup of tea, Ox, with the sound of
Maybe,
things.
aye. Right, okay. All right. Look, it's a good result, good performance, and we move on, yeah?
Yep.
Some bad news for the travelling supports the day, Rudy. I think it's a bit of a travesty when people have made arrangements and it's because a city can't accommodate 2,000 extra people. I find that a bit strange, personally. But I've got a real lot of sympathy for the guys who work hard and make arrangements, book time after work to try and get maybe to go to these trips to support the Rangers, and then what we're talking 72 hours away, pretty much. Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah,
3 days away, Ox. It was only 3 days since ticket confirmation. That was only 3 days ago. Now I could have seen the point if that had been like a couple of weeks ago or something. But 3 days for ticket confirmation, 3 days till the game, and they've now decided, they're not going to allow any away fans in the stadium. You've got Bears who've booked accommodation, they've booked travel, flights, all the rest of it, taking, as you say, book time after work to get away for 2 or 3 days to go and follow Rangers into Europe. And this is more or less last minute kick in the teeth has come up. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's scandalous, actually, that you can treat football fans like that.
I don't want to get into the whole debate about whether people should travel or no, Robert. We're not talking about that. What we're saying is they've known when this game is since the draw was made back in August, I believe. So how come it's just an incident? The festival they're having, I would imagine it must be Christmas related, so it'll be on every year. So how did they know reverse the fixtures at the time, yeah?
Exactly, totally disgusting. I mean, Robbie Ferguson, who I know very well, you've probably heard, and you know yourselves, travels everywhere the Rangers, whether it's the big team or the B team, travels everywhere, and it's no fair that he can't go and watch the team that he loves because he goes everywhere. And I'm totally disgusted with that decision today. But there you go, once again, it's always kick your Rangers down, do you know what I mean? We'll get them, we'll give them tens of thousands of tickets when our fans don't turn up and we need the money out of them. But, when I seen that today, I actually felt for guys like Robbie and all the Rangers fans that travel all over the world to watch your club.
Aye, because they've made the arrangements accordingly, and then
I know.
And then they've got to try and get money back. I'm not want to go into, as I said, Bob Chair, about the whole whether they should travel or no during this time or what's happening. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is they're saying it's because of an event. Well, they've known when that event is. It just seems ludicrous to me.
Well, I didn't quite understand it either. Like you said, I heard Big Alec for Witcher saying he was going to go to Lyon. He's just an example of the 2,500 boys, as you said. You just quoted would get time off their work, pay for accommodation, pay all the medicinal stuff that goes along with it, and suddenly they get the rug pulled for their feet at the last minute. They must have known that this festival was on, as you say, Christmas related. Apparently it's a festival of lights or something. And a city can't accommodate 2,500 extra people for a football match. No. Something doesn't ring true with me, doesn't ring true with me. Whether they didn't trust the behaviour of the Rangers supporter or whatever, I don't know. But
if they didn't want people to travel for pandemic reasons, I might not like it for the people, but I could understand it, yeah.
But you understand it for pandemic reasons. God, we're all subject to that at the moment. But it's no. That was them. It was the French authorities of the city of Lyon authorities that turned around and said it was for their festival of lights, whatever it is. And we didn't want any more people from here, there and everywhere coming to the city. Christ, you're not talking about that. You're talking about a football match. Boys are here, they go to the game and then they go away again. As you said, 72 hours. They're not there 72 hours. I couldn't put a figure on how long they'll be there. But it'll be for the duration of the game, obviously. Maybe a day. I've never travelled abroad with Rangers, and I don't can, but it's probably a day they're there and they can't accommodate you. No, I don't think so.
Some people
can't even need the money.
Some people will be lucky if they're there 12 hours, Rudy, yeah?
Well, exactly.
Can I come in on that?
It'll just be, they'll fly in, they'll have a couple of hours, they'll go and get something to eat, maybe a beer or two, And then they head to the stadium, Ox. They'll go and watch the game, come back out. They might go and have another beer or two, head to the airport, fly back out again. So you're not talking.
I think UEFA should force.
One at a time.
Sorry.
So you're not talking about 2,500 people there for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. That's not what you're talking about, is it? You know, you're talking about maybe a few of the boys, few of the bears will go there and maybe have a couple of days away. But it's ridiculous, Ox, for it to say that a city can't handle 2,500 people for a football match. You know, all right, they're having this big festival of lights, as Bob Jer was saying. You know, but you can't handle 2,500 people. I don't know. I just think that's ridiculous.
I think it's a disgrace, and I honestly do believe that UEFA should be pressing Lyon and their council, wherever they are, and get the money paid to the guys that
I get people reimbursed.
100%.
Snack a wee question on that.
Wait a minute. I'm only going to say this once, man. No, drop each and every one of you. One at a time. Each and every one of you. Bridgeman, finish.
No, what I was saying was that, as far as I'm concerned, that someone in authority at UEFA should be speaking to someone in authority at the French FA and get that sorted out, because that shouldn't have happened. Ever. We've got the whole season all sorted out, and if we've got to go in line with what the shall we say, the local councils have got to say, which may be that, no, that's not right. I don't care. It's not right, and it's got to be sorted. You're talking about the biggest championships run in the whole of world soccer, Europa League. And, oh no, it's not right. Get it sorted, UEFA. Get it sorted.
Well, before I bring Alex Wishaw, who's joined us, if they have this festival for light and it's at the same time every year, I'm assuming, Rudy, putting 2 and 2 together, yeah?
Yeah.
Surely you say, well, we can't have any home fixtures at that particular time. Yeah.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
If I got it wrong?
No, absolutely. You've got it 100% right.
I'll bring Robert in, and then we'll bring in Alex Wishaw. On you go, Robert.
Oh, so I might be paranoid here, right? And I probably am, right? But you said,
who said that?
No, but they made this decision 2 or 3, 4 days ago. They said that we could have 2,200 tickets, and then all of a sudden they've changed it and says we can't have any. Now, this is obviously a UEFA decision. Am I wrong in saying this? Is Lyle no on that UEFA board?
I don't know, mate. I think that you might be joining dots and putting 2 and 2 together and come up with 5. You could be right, but we don't know. Anyway, we've been joined by our good friend Alec Wishaw. Evening, Alec.
Good evening, Ox here. Bridgeman, Rudy, Bob here.
Evening, Alex.
And Robert. How are we doing, lads? All right?
Hi, how are you, Alex?
All right, Bridgeman, how are you, sir? Bridgeman, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing very well.
Good stuff.
Toblerone's good.
I've just really been listening there about the Bromby trip. Well, I've been booked. I was booked up for the last 4 weeks to get there. Lyon, right, for the last 4 weeks. So it's been a bit of a dampener how this has worked out. Even the ticket allocation, normally you get about 2-3 weeks before. That's been at the very end as well. So once we call it the releasing the tickets, we thought we were still going there, and then what happened today and that. So it's been a bit of a dampener with this festival that they're supposed to be saying it's happening, but not only in the city centre. I just don't know what to make it at all. But the bottom line is, all the guys I know, we were all booked up. I'll lose my flights and that, so that's the only thing is that with all these tests they take as well. So
I think you've got a case for this, that you should be able to claim that against UEFA. That's the point that the boys are making, mate.
Aye.
Yeah, if they've got that festival and they know they can, their council will not give them the go-ahead. If you accept that's true, and it's a lot of ifs, I know, if you accept that's true, they shouldn't be having a home game. So UEFA should step in and say, look, either Lyon have to fit the bill and get everybody so that nobody's out of pocket. Because football supporters are the lifeblood of the game. Home and away.
Exactly. We were flying out on Wednesday. I was flying to Dublin and then out to Lyon. That was my flights there. And I was coming back 2 days. I was coming back on the Friday, 8 to the 10. So we've been away different places and that. So I just think it's been a bit iffy how it's all happened at the end up. I certainly don't want us out there. That was the bottom line. So I'll tell you one, what happened It's the game. I know what you call it, we've qualified, and they've qualified, but what would have happened if that had been a decider? If it had been Rangers to go out to try and get a result, and they came out with some sort like this, that would have been absolute near pandemonium. So thankfully,
it's political, Alec.
It's political, 100%. But that's what it's like, so we've just got to go on with it. And we'll look forward to the next trip down in February, hopefully. We'll see what's going there.
The only positive thing is that for the people who maybe going to Lyon now, they'll be able to go to Tynecastle, because they might have struggled to get to Tynecastle because you've got to have the test week back in the UK. So every cloud has a silver lining, you know?
Well, the other thing about Tynecastle, we'll allocate 1,000 tickets up there now.
Aye. If you've got
That's all we got, 1,000. Sorry?
If you've got a ticket and you were going to Lyon, you might have struggled to get, yeah?
Oh, aye. There you go. Anyway, what do you call it? Regarding the game on Saturday, that's the best performance we've had for a long time. It's ironic that probably the worst performance was against Dundee, and that's including the League Cup semi-final against Hibs. We're up at Dens Park that time. That was the worst Rangers performance of the season. And there you go, ironic, we've just beat Dundee there, and we could have beat them more convincingly. 3 let them off the hook. It could have been easily 6 or 7. Every one of the players take credit. They definitely stepped up to the mark. Real impressed now with Scott Arfield. He seems a new lease of life as well. Big Bonner Barrett. I thought he played really well. Okay, they're more defensive in that, but the team look more like a team now.
I couldn't agree more, mate. I think you're spot on with your view on the Dundee game away. Yeah, that was worse than the semi-final, and it was maybe our best team performance of the season, if we're being honest. It might even be, apart from maybe the Old Firm game at Ibrox at the back end of the season, it might actually be our best team performance this calendar year, Alec.
I would say that, Oxer. Every one of the players was up for it. You could see the fluent football they were trying to play. They were all desperate to get the ball, nobody hiding. Hadji, I know, takes a bit of stick. I thought Hadji played quite well. What I like about the wee guy is, no matter how bad he's playing, he doesn't hide. He still demands the ball. They're different players. He's on the wing. Maybe that's not the right position for him, but I thought he played quite well. They brought Scott right on. His first touch was unbelievable when he was away for the defenders and that. So, Sakala, out another wing. We just look like a team. And here's hoping that's us. We're by that kind of sticky patch now, and look forward to, what do you call it, because this has got to be a hard month for us in all of December, but look forward to it now with more confidence. That's it, I see it.
Aye, well, we're talking about maybe Thursday's a free hit and we take a Bridgeman at Tynecastle and then we move on 3 home games, mate. Then December starts changing, yeah?
Exactly. And what I was going to say, I don't really want to bring up the them, but that Dundee United yesterday, it was absolutely, I just happened to be watching it. And honest to God, man, they never even tried a leg. It was unbelievable to think we've played them, all these teams, and I said before, same with Bob Jere, much they put in against the Rangers. But that Dundee United was absolute embarrassment, really.
Invisible.
Oh, terrible, man. And that's how it goes.
You're not surprised.
No, do we expect any more?
One at a time. Wait to hear your name. It's no easy. You're Robert, you're Bob here. Just wait.
No, you're right there. You're right there, what do you call it, Oxer. That's what you don't expect anything different. But it's a wee bit gulling when you see a likes of that, you know. But that's what it's all about Rangers now. And hopefully that's us got the kickstart. And Giovanni Brunkhurst looks as if he's got them playing.
Yeah.
Definitely. First class performance with Rangers.
And you come, Bob, yeah?
Oh, I agree with you, Alec, what you're saying. Dundee United were absolutely shocking. It's terrible. Anyway, enough about them. Yes, Rangers are flowing. They're flowing a bit more now, like I said 10 minutes ago. And I was really impressed with them on Saturday. My old uncle used to say, if you want to see a good goalkeeper, go to Ibrox. That laddie was performing miracles to keep them in the game. Never mind about the 2 own goals. That didn't matter. Rangers could have scored 7 or 8 on Saturday, no problem. And Griffiths, by the way, I'm just going to touch on it. You're a disgrace to your profession. You ran on there on Saturday with the full intention of hurting somebody. So I could pick up the paper this morning and the press is trying to defend them. Well, sorry. Anyway, well done, Rangers. We are turning the corner. I'm confident of that. And we've got an even better manager. Right, Hawks, that's me.
Cheers, mate. Robert?
I'm just sitting here now. I'm sorry for sitting in there a couple of times because I'm actually. You know the way I am, but no, I'm actually frustrated when that Alex Russell came on there because I actually feel for Alex. I actually feel for you and your boys and your crew for this on that because you were so looking forward to going to Lyon and the usual to kick your Rangers in the teeth. So I'm really, really frustrated, mate. But I don't know if you're going to Tynecastle on Sunday, but if you are, you and your sons and that, I'm sure the Rangers are going to turn up and give a good performance because I'm really looking forward to it on Sunday. Because I think this will be one. This will be a telling result for us. And I've got a sneaking feeling the Rangers are going to do well on Sunday, guys.
All right. Well, I picked up just quickly and sent it and just checked some of the stuff. This festival is every year at Lyon at that time, Rudy. So it just doesn't make sense that they've got a home game. It's not a new thing, so you can do 2 and 2s all day long and see what you feel. But I think I'd rather they turn around and say they don't want us to travel because of the pandemic situation.
That would have been reasonable.
The fact that they have it every year, Ox, it's not a one-off thing. It's not something that's just sort of, the City Council's decided today, just that, in the spur of the moment. It's a yearly thing. They have it every single year. So surely, way back in August, when these draws were made, it should have been looked at back then and said, well, look, let's swap fixtures here. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's just ridiculous to think, guys like Alec have booked their tickets, they've got their accommodation, their flights, their time off of work, and only 3 days ago, I think, was the ticket confirmations and stuff. And then 3 days later, they're saying, no, actually, we've changed our mind. You can't go because we're having a festival. I don't know. There's something stinks for me, Ox, about it. You know what I mean? I don't think I don't think it's the day with a festival of lights at all. I think there's more to it behind the scenes. Call me paranoid if you like. Doesn't mean to say they're no out to get you. You know what I mean? So, there's more to it, I think, Ox, behind the scenes, to be honest.
We'll see, right? We'll see. We'll watch for interest when they're playing at home under the Festival of Lights on in the future, Alexa.
Correct, Ox, yeah. The saying is that they got a statement for Rangers saying there were 2,200 tickets allocated to the club and there was another 1,000 travelling without tickets, right? Then they came out with this about the festival. You weren't allowed in the city centre from 8 o'clock in the morning to midnight on the day of the game. So the guys that probably travel without the tickets and that, they usually go to the pub out the day, they go to the fan zone and all that. So that was going to be knocked out. So you'd been in pubs out with the city centre. But even at that, the stadium's quite a wee bit outside the city centre. It just doesn't make sense. They won't mind it, but it's really just telling you the truth. They didn't want you there and it was to do with, you call it, the virus. You'd accepted that a bit better, but it's a bit iffy. But that's how it goes. But we'll learn. I'm interested, as you say, the next time it crops up again, if this is an annual event. What I was going to say, I know, was about we're talking about the centre halves and all that there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the centre half I would go for. It probably cost about a couple of £1 million, but I don't know if we can afford that. And see the big centre half that played with Bromby, Matzo, number 5, big Scandinavian, the big Danish boy. I thought he was a right good player. I thought he'd have been ideal for us. That's the type of player I would go for.
I'll take your word on it, Alec, because you're a right good judge.
Andreas Maxwell, they call him. If any's what you call it, if he's look him up by the way, he's a right good centre half. Ideal. He would fit right into the Rangers team. That's how I look at it. But with John Suter and all that, I brought him up away back at the beginning. We played Hearts, and I thought about it. But as the mayor went on there, I thought, he's playing. He's got a purple patch now, that laddie and that. But he's injury prone. I don't know if he's for Rangers, to be quite truthful and that, But I like going Scandinavian. I think the boys they're the ideal guys I like. About 6'4", 6'5", big strong centre halves.
Now you're talking.
Right. Do you want me just to change the mood a wee bit, Rudy?
Yep, on you go, Hawks.
Do you want to hear about the quiz then?
Oh, the quiz, okay.
the Bolgie was doing his religious quiz because it's Christmas time and that, and his first question that was asked of Fox, he said, "Who was born in a stable?" He said, "Well, red rum." His second question was, he said, "What do you think of Damascus?" And he wrote down, "It kills 99% of all germs." And then his third question was, "What happened when the disciples went to Mount Olive?" He said, "That's easy. Popeye kicked the crap out of them."
That can't be true, Ox.
Nearly true.
That's got to be true for Popeye, surely.
Sorry.
Can I come in here for? Oh,
yeah, sorry about that, Bob. That was bad. Carry on.
I've come on here with a few howlers, Phil, but that is definitely taking a packet of biscuits. No, even. Here at me.
Sorry, apologise.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Sorry, Alex.
Oh, that's
Listen to the centre half thing, boys. Nobody's mentioned Hollander yet.
Aye, you're right, mate. And maybe if he's back and he's fit and he's going to be fit for, say, the end of January, and you've got Bassey, you've got Hollander, you've got Balogun, you've got Goldson. Do you need one?
Aye.
Get that?
Then we've got a raker centre half, aye.
Aye, that's a fair comment. Robert?
That's true what you're saying about if Hollander comes back to the end of January and Balogun, but what happens if you get an injury to Goldson? What happens if you get an injury to Bassey, which is quite possible? And knowing the Rangers track history in the years, we always we don't get a player that gets a hamstring for 2 weeks like other clubs. We get them for 8 and 9 weeks. That's the way it works, seems to work for us. So I think we need to bring in another centre half just to cover it and take us to the end of the season. That's what I think anyway.
Bridgeman.
Well, I'm waiting to see if Hollander can come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have any problems bringing Katic back, as I said earlier. I just don't want Rangers to be out and spending a lot of money on a centre half that, shall we say, we know the name. So it's as if we haven't bothered with him up to now, or we're feeling desperate, where the manager maybe sitting saying, "What are we worried about? We're 4 points clear and we're playing well." That kind of thing, So they, in fact, our manager and his team may, in fact, have a couple of people for that. And he might not want to tolerate Goldson much longer, in the sense that he can't be, shall we say, allowed to call the shots. So he might end up getting put back onto the bench, and they bring someone in anyway from Holland or somewhere else, or maybe that guy from Brøndby that Alex Wishaw said, because he was quite a good player. So there's a number of centre halves in Europe that when we played against them, they've been very good. Admittedly, some of them worth about 80 million quid or something like that. But you know what I mean? For me, I hope the big Philip gets fixed. That's what we need.
It's two questions, Alec. It's whether you send a centre half for the snoo, or are you trying to sign a centre half to start building to the next level? That's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just I feel that with Conor Goldson, he played absolutely wonderful here on Saturday as well. With the contract side, within his cell, he could run the contract down just by the end of the season. But I mean, if he did go in January, I'm just thinking in there, big Hollander, man, absolutely wonderful if he comes back the end of January. But I just think we need somebody in there than her. I really do. I don't know if the boy Simpson, what's happening with him. Doesn't really see that he's going to be getting again. The big Bassey's playing out his skin as well there. So I just feel that maybe the centre half situation could be sorted. If Conor Goldson wants to stay or wants to go, I'm always talking about replacing him, basically. That's how I feel about it. But I hope the guy does sign a contract. But I've got my doubts now. I've really got my doubts.
Aye, I know what you're saying, mate. Aye, as time goes on, it looks more that way, but you have to take it as it comes. And obviously, we took Lundstrom on that deal, Robert. And sometimes it'll work for you, and sometimes it'll work against you.
Exactly, because when you come into a big club like Rangers, it's not like playing for Hearts or any other Scottish team, including that lot. When you come to Rangers, the pressure's on you right away because to perform. Because we're not the easiest crowd to please. The Rangers fans want perfection all the time. So I think this season, it's a £40 million carrot. I think this is, if not probably bigger than last season in many ways, because it's £40 million. So I just hope in January we can get a couple of signings in and it can hit the ground running. And I don't want to bring in anybody as a squad player, a 17-year-old that's going to do it in 3 years' time. I want to bring in players that can challenge Conor Goldson, that can challenge James Tavernier and Alfredo Morelos for their spots. That's what I think we need in January. And I know it's no easy getting the players in January because it's not a great transfer window to sign players, but you never know. I'm hoping Gio's got a couple up his sleeve that might just take us over the line and give that 40 million. And then you're talking about the future Oaks. Don't forget about the next step. It's all about right now. That's what it's all about the Rangers. It's not about the next step at this moment in time. The next step will take care of itself if we can get that £40 million and get into that Champions League.
I don't know. I think you've got to be plotting and scheming and planning all the time, Alex. You've got to try and look to improve your squad. You've got to try and improve your first 11. You try to improve your crop of youngsters constantly. If we strive to be where we want to be.
Well, that's what Wilson's. That's what he keeps saying. In it, you've got to keep thinking. Look at that unexpectedly in this, and then you're building again. You're building. It's a massive season for us. It really is. The way we played on Saturday. I mean, if we can keep that kind of level of football up now, we should be more or less all right. But I'm just at we're old enough to know what football's all about. You've got this virus and all. Hopefully it doesn't kick in any heavier. Scenario, what would happen if somebody gets done with it and they follow up with all that? That'd be in front of us as well. So it's no straightforward. It's definitely no straightforward. But the centre-half situation, as I said, big Conor Goldson, me included in that, I've been on his case and on that because of obviously what had happened previous. But I must say, against Hibs last Wednesday, he was outstanding, and he was outstanding against Dundee. So maybe this is the guys, the team are really stale. Let's be quite truthful about it. We had Stevie Gerrard. That was right upset and all when he left, but the bottom line is we've got Gio in there, and he's definitely gave the team another bolt now. And they look as if they're the team that was last year. Maybe speaking a wee bit earlier than now, but definitely the signs was there on Saturday. I was really impressed with Rangers.
That's fair. That's fair. But aye. We've talked about centre backs. Somebody mentioned wide players. I think it was you, Robert. We've got Kent Sakala. We've got a Rebo play there. We've got Hadji that's been played there. You've got Scott Wright. Yeah. Well situated there, and if you defensively, you've got Patterson that could come in and play on the right side if you were wanting to show something up. So we're quite well on the wide areas, if that makes sense, Rudy. But who would you sign, or what position would you sign? Should I say, if you apart from the centre halves?
Apart from the centre halves, I'd like to see another right-sided player, a right-sided forward. Somebody with pace and a bit of trickery. And I know Scott Wright, I was really impressed with Scott Wright when he came on. His first bit of play when he came on at the weekend, I thought was absolutely fantastic. I think the only thing that lets Scott Wright doing at the moment is his decision making in the final third. Sometimes he runs at such a pace, he runs himself almost out the park sometimes. See if he could sort that bit out, his final play in the final, his bit of play in the final third. I think we'd have a fantastic player in my hands there because his pace is electric. But I'd still like to see that position looked at, because I don't think Hadji Fitz playing in there, Ox. I really don't. I think you're being doing the boy a disservice. You've even said it yourself. He's not your favourite player, but even you've said you're doing him a bit of a disservice, putting him out in that wide right position. Now, I think that's going to be looked at, because I think at times as the season goes on, we're going to suffer from suspensions and injuries, and it's just the way it's going to be. I think for a while now we've wondered about that. We've spoken about the right side, the forward right side of the pitch, and I think it's going still. I don't think it's settled yet, Ox, that side of the pitch. I really don't. I think Sakala was fantastic on the left. We've got Ryan Kent who can come in and play on the left as well, and I know these boys can play right across the front three. But I'd still rather see a proper right-sided forward in that position. So that's something I would look at. And I was saying to you earlier on about bringing a player in that's just going to immediately slot right into the first 11 and just going to totally freshen things up and bring something new. That's the position I would be looking at.
Okay. Robert, then Bridgman.
I totally agree with everything Rudy said there. Definitely summed on the right. But you know what, guys? I think we've got a player at Ibrox on the right, and the next, after the Hearts game, we've got 3 games at home. I would like to see him get a run in the team, because what you said in Friday, Ox, and I've been saying for months, we don't need like 2 holding midfielders against all these teams like Dundee and St Johnstone. I think we've got a player called Danilo Bakuna, and I think, see this wee boy, and I seen in the Ross County game, I thought he was outstanding, and then we never really seen him. He wasn't even on the bench for a couple of games, and he came on Saturday, and his first touch was immense, what he done cut inside and I think in that way, I'd love to see us get that way run the team, because I think there could be something special in there, but I think he's a type of boy you need to play, and he might be in and out of games, but I think he could give us something different.
See, my next home game at Ibrox, mate, I'm dropping Barisic and playing Bakuna in that position. That's what I'm going for, mate.
Wow.
Why would you do that?
Wow.
That's adventurous, Ox, dear.
Well, can I just say that Robert, I agree 100% with you as far as Bakuna is concerned. I've been waiting for him to turn up, and he's not got a chance. I don't know if he'll do a 90-minute game, but I would love to see it. I think he's got something, and we want to see what it is he's got. And can he stand the pace? Even the physical aspect of this league we're in. He might not be able to do it, but a good chance. I think the boy plays well. He just needs that. First couple of times he was on, he was waiting in the ball a wee bit, and then by the time he turns, somebody's on top of him. We need him to get wakened up, and maybe he has been wakened up, and hopefully, I agree with you 100%. He's got to get games. And by the way, so is young Patterson. Got to get games. We're going to be playing with a right back who's a defender. There's nobody any better in this league than that young boy at the moment. That's what I say.
Oh, he's a defender?
I think Patterson's a better defender than Tav. We're going to play with a right back as a defender. Patterson's a better defender than Tav, in my opinion.
I don't know if I've seen enough of him. I think he's definitely quicker than Tav, maybe better in the air than Tav. How he is in the tackle, I don't know. I don't think I've seen enough of him in that position with the cameos we've seen, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I'll be interested. Yes, Robert.
And also, Bridgman had to touch on Tav there, didn't he? So I've got to come in and stick up for the captain. Is Patterson going to give us the assists and the goals that Tavernier give? Not in a million years. And I'm sorry, he's young. He's still got to learn his trade to the Rangers fans here.
Robert, I'm speaking about the way Van Bronckhorst is making our team play. The fullbacks are a lot more defensive. No doubt, Tav. No doubt about Tav. He'll give you all the assists in the world. But I think if he's going to play him at right back, and a full right back defensively, then he's not be able to do so any assists. That's the truth.
But Brisbane, surely the way we want the Rangers to play is going forward and getting goals. Yeah, it's great getting what you say every week, a Brisbane, a 1-0. But let's be honest, the bigger picture is if we won 1-0 every week to the end of the season, we're happy. But the bigger picture is we want to see the Rangers win in style. We want to see the Dick Advocates Rangers. Let's be honest about that. That's what we want to see, because we should be winning in style with the teams that we're playing against in Scotland. It's different kettle of fish when it comes to Europe. And I'm sorry, but see James Tavernier, I think James Tavernier, yeah, he's got defensive deficiencies, because if he was a great defender, he would be playing for Barcelona or Man United. But I think, come on, it gives us that. Look at his goal against St Johnstone. Look at his goal, the penalty against Aberdeen to get us a draw. Look at the wonder goals he gets us and the assists that he gets us. And he's got something like 12 assists. When did we have a right back like that with the assists? And we had right backs like Sandy Jarvin and Gary Stevens, but they played in great Rangers teams. To be fair, he's not played in a great Rangers team. He played in a good Rangers team last season. So I'll always stick up for Tavernier, because he came here 7 years ago for £300,000, whatever we paid from, and I think he's been an absolutely fantastic signing for us.
No doubts about that. All I was trying to say to you was the way the manager wants the team to play, they're far more defensive. The full-backs are staying back. They're actually defending. And I'm making the comparison between, for that type of game, that's what I'm looking for. Would Patterson be a better right back?
Defensively, yes. But at the same time, we can't expect to play defensively against Dundee and your St Johnstone's. We've got to go forward, and I don't think at this moment in time, and he's a young talent, and he is a young talent, and let's not forget he is only 20 years of age, right? But I know they're all saying if you're good enough, you're young enough, right? And that's fair enough. But I don't think
you're
at this
good
time,
enough, you're old enough.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, I'm mixed up here, right? But I don't think at this moment in time, I don't think at this moment in time he's ready to take over James Tavernier's position. That could change in the next 18 months. There's no doubt about it. And don't get me wrong, I've been saying we need to get this young boy into the team, because I think in the bigger picture, I think, see, going forward, that boy could be worth 25 million pounds.
Okay. I'll cut across you. Bob, do you play him Thursday? Nathan Patterson. Yes, for me. Give him a go.
Aye, absolutely. Because I'll tell you, I've just been listening to you here in the last 10 minutes. Absolutely brilliant. Robert, you're right in what you're saying. Dav's done a great job for us. But the question about Thursday, definitely, I'd give Patterson a starting Thursday. Definitely. Maybe young Kelly a start. I know it's a dead rubber game, isn't it? So give them a chance. See what they're like on the big stage. My big fear about Patterson is this, boys, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with every one of us who's died in the World Rangers fans. There are thousands of years over there. Feel the same thing. We've got a potential superstar on our hands here, and we don't want to lose him. I hope that laddie can stay with us for about the next for the foreseeable future, the next year, 18 months or whatever, and then take his chance, because he will definitely play for Rangers every week. Dav's not going to last forever. Steve Davis is not going to last forever. Scott Arfield's not going to last forever. The side will need to be tweaked. So, whatever happens with the situation with Patterson in the future, I just certainly hope he stays at Ibrox, because I feel he's a better all-round. He's going to be a better all-round player than Tavernier will ever be. That's my opinion on it.
Robert?
Bob, I can understand exactly.
I'm sorry. Alex. Yep. Sorry, wrong name. Sorry, Alex.
It's a good debate now, isn't it? A good dilemma. Young boys obviously chat about it a bit, isn't he? So that's ideal game for him Thursday night. I'd definitely play him and see how we go on. But he'll certainly he'll be learning a lot of good out of James Tavernier. But Bridgman's right enough what he's talking about. If we play defensive in that, he's probably a better defender. But you don't want to hold the young kid back, because he's definitely got the potential to go further.
All the way.
But James Tavernier's been a revelation as well. So it's a headache, but it's a good headache. And that's what they get paid for, these managers and that. But we're just grateful we've got two good right full-backs and two right backs.
Yeah.
Rudy?
I think if I was picking the team for Thursday, Ox, I'd give Patterson a wee run out. I don't think he'd be overawed in the slightest. Patterson, he's full of confidence. He's a fantastic young player. I love him to bits. I think if you watch his performances with the Scotland team, he's just fully at it. He doesn't care who he's playing against. He just wants to play. He wants to get up and down that right side of the park. And I think Robert, Bridge and that make a good point of it defensively. But then I think sometimes, because Tav's been used for so long now, I think he takes a bit of a battering off the fans that I don't think he fully deserves at times. I mean, I know he isn't the greatest defender in the world, but he's got over 100 assists for something like 68, 69 goals for a fullback. That's just phenomenal. So it is. That's phenomenal numbers for any fullback, no matter who they are or where they're playing. And if Tav was a great defender as well, I think it was Robert said earlier on, he'd be at Man United or Barcelona or Real Madrid or somewhere like that, But he's no a great defender. It's there for everybody to see. But I also think with this new system that Gio's brought in, with fullbacks no bombing forward at every single opportunity, and having being a wee bit more mindful of their defensive duties, I think you'll see a good Tav this season going forward. I think you'll see him defend better. I certainly think you'll see Barisic defend better. But I'd certainly give Patterson a wee run out. We've got 3 games coming up at Ibrox. I'd maybe give 1 or 2 of the games in all. It's not just Thursday night, because I think we've still yet to see the best of Patterson. Or have they sought a great deal of him? But look, see if Everton are willing to come in and offered 5 million and then upped it to 8 million to take him off his...
Laughable.
That tells you something. It is laughable, you're right, Bob Ger, but the point is they're willing to spend 8 million on a young Scottish player. That tells you something. They're not offering that for nothing. They see in him what we can all see in him. So he deserves a good run out this season. So you start with Thursday and you give him a game or 2 and the wee run of 3 homes at Ibrox and all.
Start for Thursday, mate, and then the captain comes back in Tuesday, and the captain comes Sunday, and then the captain comes back in Wednesday, and we take it for there. Alex, Bridge.
What happens if Nathan Patterson plays in Thursday night as an absolute stormer?
What happens if he's an absolute stinker?
Aye, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what it is, but if it goes the other way, it's a cracking game, right? You're talking. Then you're playing Hearts on Sunday. As I say, it's a great thing. We've got 2 first-class right-backs in that, and he's probably going to have James Tavernier every day at the train as well. But I've no problems playing the boy on Thursday night. Rudy was right there. He's played with Scotland there, these European teams, by the way, and he's exciting running down the wing, that boy. And he's played in Europe with us as well, so he's definitely one for the future, but we've got to be careful and how we look after this kid in case he decides if he's not getting a game and then before you know it, other clubs are looking at him. That's the big thing. It's a hard one, but that's what happens when you play with Rangers, isn't it? You're there in the first place because you're a good footballer. So we'll see what happens.
It depends what aims he had for the season. If it was to be involved in 20 games, is he ahead of the curve? Is it to start 20 games? That's a different ball game. Bridgman?
Yeah, it has to be said. We're speaking in the context that our manager and the coaching staff are now getting the players to play from a defensive perspective, which is setting a bit differently. So whether in fact you're going to get someone like Tav who is going to be capable of playing a solid defensive unit and doing the ups and downs which he likes to do. I'm not saying he's going to be rubbish and things like that, but I think if you're going to play from a defensive concept of football, then you need to have someone who's a good defender. I don't think Tav's the best defender in the world. I think you could put Tav, for instance, just a slightly forward for Boy Patterson, and you're going to have Tav bombing up the wing all the time, and you're still going to get the assists and so on and so forth. And that's one of the tragedies of having a fantastic player, and his results are excellent. Goals, assists, penalties, free kicks, you name it. All the talent in the world there. But we've got a new manager in, and he wants people that can defend. So the manager will make the decisions what's going to happen. But I feel that sooner or later, the boy Patterson's going to play. And he's playing in Scotland. He's playing as a Scottish right back. And they're doing very well. And I don't see any problem for that boy playing on our team. as a right back from a defensive perspective. I don't see it.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out, you know. How the boy goes, and hopefully Mer put out his elbow and we'll get a real good change in regard coming at some point and you improve your team like that, Rudy. Then Robert.
I think so. I mean, Gio's obviously going to have his... See, the thing with Gio, what you have to remember, the Hawks is he's not had the opportunity to bring anybody in. He's not had the... These are Steven Gerrard's players he's got at the moment, so he's working well with them. It all looks good to me. It's looks like it's gone in the right direction. We've only lost 1 goal, 4 games. If you think back to previous to that, how we were... You know, it seemed every time a team had a shot on goals, we were losing a goal. It's changed since Gio's came in. You know, he'll have his own ideas. His coaching staff will have their own ideas, and they'll also have ideas about players and stuff. It's going to be exciting to see who they bring in, you know, when they get the opportunity. But Gio's going to get into this game on Thursday night. It's with Rangers. It's his first foray into an away game in Europe. You know, I'm really looking forward to the game. You know, I think going forward, I think you'll see different tweaks depending on who we're playing, who we're coming up again, what the gaming's like, what we're hoping to do in the game and stuff like that. I kind of thought back, the team got really stale. I thought the tactics got really stale, Ox, with the previous manager and coaching staff. And a lot of times I tended to think we were just battering away doing the same old thing and nothing seemed to change. When we were all here talking about changes and all that. And since the new manager and coaching staff's come in, it looks like they've made the tweaks. They've obviously sat and watched games and thought, right, that needs to change, and that needs to change. And it looks like they've done it, Hawks. And I'm just really excited about what Gio and his coaching staff are going to do going forward.
Robert, it's a big game for the if you like, the board of directors. There's money involved in £500,000, I think, if you win the game. I'm not saying my favourites to win in Lyon at all, but is it important we maybe don't go out there and put a weakened team out and then the next thing you're chasing shadows and you're 3 down?
See, to be fair, we could put out the strongest team and you could be chasing shadows, right? Personally, I think this is, and I was going to come on Wednesday night, and I will come on Wednesday night and give you my team, and my team will have 5 or 6 changes because I think we need to play all our French players. One, you give them game time. Guys like Ryan Jack, guys like Scott Wright, etc. Nathan Patterson. I think Nathan Patterson, a stick-on start for Thursday night, and I hope we does start young Nathan Patterson. And I understand what you're saying about the money. It's a lot of money, but you know what? The bigger picture is Sunday against Hearts. So I would play the French players on Thursday night. Now, give my team on Wednesday, and I would play the French players because the bigger picture is Thursday night. And I know what you're saying about the money and this prestige and all that. Thursday night, Sunday against Hearts could take us another step towards 40 million.
What time are you phoning in on Wednesday?
Well, I'll try and keep my call to the back of the night. No, I called in earlier night. You've kept me. I thought you were going to drop me, but now I'm quite proud that you've actually not dropped me. I'm quite happy about it. And I'll go off and I'll say to Gary, do you know what? I couldn't have been talking that much rubbish, Gary. I was only at 20 past 8 and I was still on to 10 o'clock.
Oh, Chair, can I just come in?
That's
on that
10
point?
to 10. See you, Robert.
Good night.
Can I just come in there on the point that Robert makes there? I wouldn't go making wholesale changes for Thursday night. Robert's talking about maybe 5 or 6 players. I wouldn't do that personally because, all right, I get this fixture's a dead rubber, but the last thing you want to do is go away from home against a team like Lyon and take an absolute batter. That doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever, regardless of whether it's a dead rubber or not. So maybe 2-3 players, but to go making 5 or 6 changes, Robert, for a game against a side, because listen, they can play football, Robert. If we change half the team and send a load of French players out there to play them, we'll take an absolute battering, mate. And I don't think that.
I don't know if that will happen, because remember, I know it was only a friendly, that tournament. We played against them last year, and we had our reserve team on the first half, and we done well, and they brought their full team on the second half and couldn't beat us. I know it was only a pre-season tournament. So, Rudy, I think they'll have a reserve team out, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't think we will take a battering. I don't. It could work two ways, Rudy. You could put your best team out there and still take a battering. So I don't think Rudy will. I just honestly don't think who. It doesn't matter who Gio plays. I think Gio will have them all up for it. And I'd like to think guys like young Nathan Patterson, guys like Scott Wright, Ryan Jack. We need to get minute into Ryan Jack's legs. Big Lundstrom's gone a bit still.
I think you'll play for Ryan Jack.
Well, and that's what I would say, Ox. Don't get me wrong. I'd play guys like Ryan Jack. I'd even play Ryan Kent for one half. If Ryan Kent starts on Thursday, I would play him for one half and take him off at half time just because he's not been playing a lot of minutes. Scotty Arfield's another player. You could maybe play him on Thursday with Sunday coming ahead because he's not played that much minutes. We need to get minutes into guys' legs that are not getting a game for us.
Right, what's the biggest game of the week this week, Alex?
Oh, the way it's worked out now and that. As Bridgman says, the next game's the biggest game, but I honestly believe Tynecastle.
Okay, I get that. Bob, Gia?
Absolutely Tynecastle. Absolutely Tynecastle. Must have 3 points is a must on Sunday. That's a big statement for us if we win on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. All right. Rudy?
Aye, 100%. It's going to be Tynecastle. If you'd ask me to take the win either on Thursday or the win on Sunday, give me the win on Sunday every day of the week, Ox.
Bridgman?
I think it's a kind of tricky situation because also the next game is always the biggest game for any team in any league. The next game is always the biggest game. But from a league perspective, then Hearts is going to be a huge game. But I'm not putting down, this might be a bounce game for somebody. Some people think it's a dead rubber and things like that. I think it's a huge game. This is worth £500,000 for Rangers if they can beat that mob. So it's a big game. And I would suggest that this is a bigger game. The next game, always the biggest.
Well, gentlemen, you'll not believe it. We've reached that time of the evening.
What time again? Wow.
Yeah. Well done. You've got a gold star tonight, Robert Wetherell.
Thank you.
Top man, Robert. Top man.
All I'll say quickly is win at Tynecastle, win at the Sheep, and win at the Piggery in 56 is ours. Good night, guys.
Good night, Robert.
Good night, Robert.
Bob Gia? What about you, Bob Gia?
Well, what they're going to do if the lights go out in the stadium on Thursday night,
Good point.
Seriously, I'll take a win for Rangers every single time. You all know that. We're all the same that way. But definitely Thursday night. And a good performance on Thursday. It is Europe, and we want a good performance. And good night to you all, boys. A great discussion again.
Cheers.
Good night, Bob Gia.
Good night, Bob Gia.
Good night, Bob Gia.
Well, fantastic show tonight again, lads. Thanks for having me on in that. And, look forward to Thursday. And onwards and upwards.
You're always welcome on here, mate. You know that?
Thank you.
Yeah, you know that. Don't bring your mate Robert Wetherell, but...
I'm glad I've got one, mate.
All right, Robert.
You know,
brilliant, Alec. Brilliant, mate.
Great calls tonight once again by Robert and Alec and Bob Gia. Fantastic show. Ox, thanks to yourself and Bridgman for having me on the show. Yeah, looking forward to Thursday night. I'll take whatever happens on Thursday night, but I still think Sunday at Tynecastle is much more important, Ox. Onwards and upwards.
What about you, Bridgman?
Well, what can I say? A fantastic night, fantastic evening. Great discussions. And these ones we are talking about, the existing versus the coming up, they've just been fascinating discussions. Well done to everybody, and a huge thank you to Rudy Bear for being my buddy tonight. And I'm very jealous of what I eat tonight. The Italian food again. So all I can say is to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, this is the place to be. Everybody, keep it going for the Rangers because it's all coming up. Huge week. Keep it going.
Thanks to Robert Wetherell. Thanks to Alex Wishaw, and of course the one and only Bob Gia. Thanks to Rudy Bear and Bridgman for joining us here on the show, and Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. We'll be joined by the one and only Big Stevie. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Take it away, Old School Blue.
As I was walking down the Coleman Road, I met a bunch of strangers. They said to me, are you going to see